I got balls of steel. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we are the Hockey Happy Hour, brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Gentlemen, I am Matt Sassuti along with Rob the Povia and the Darkwing Brian Daly. What up? How's everybody doing on this chilly Tuesday aftume?
I'm cold.
And you get to sit in the corner, too.
I know, it's cold over in the
That's
corner.
The worst part of the studio.
It's cold over here.
It might be cold out, but it's red hot on the ice for the Philadelphia Flyers right now, so I am good.
Oh, yeah. That'll keep us nice and warm at night. 9-game win streak. That is right. First time since Eric Lindros was captain. For those who don't know exact years, 1995 was the last time the Flyers had a 9-game win streak. I think it's way too long since we've had a 9-gamer, so it's good to see this team is making history. First, we started with the 8-game that they hadn't done since 2002. Then we go to the 9-gamer. Now it's since 95. And now they have a chance to even make more history. They could get into double digits by Wednesday if they can beat Colorado and get a 10-game win streak going. Guys, I got to ask, is this the result of the Flyers finally bringing that young talent and that young flair into the team with guys like Gostisbehere last year, Provy, and TK this year, and of course with the influence of Simmons and Shen that have been around for a little while now, and our captain, Giroux Voracek? Or is it just still a sneak preview of things to come? Are we seeing a teaser trailer of the next couple of seasons where the Flyers shed some of those players we don't need, and we bring up some more of those young guys that we definitely want, and now this team can make a run? Or is the future here?
You know, I want to believe that they're a real threat, and because of this 9-game win streak, now sitting at third in the Metropolitan, a point behind the Pittsburgh Penguins, 2 points behind the Rangers and Canadiens for Eastern Conference lead, I think they're just really hot right now, because if you dissect each game as we have been, and we'll continue to do so on today's program, they've been lucky in some of these games. They've had defensive lapses. Now, sure, have they shored them up in the last couple games? Yeah, but you're talking about playing games against the Dallas Stars, who they've been really reeling with their offensive juggernaut, but have not been showing that this year. The Detroit Red Wings have been playing poorly. They're in a rebuild situation. So you got to look at who they're facing a little bit, and the fact that a lot of these games have been outright barn burners, looking back to the Oilers game where if it wasn't for that, offensive pressure that they continue to muster, battling against adversity, these would have been lost, and we wouldn't have been talking about a win streak right now. I think, the defense needs to be shored up as some of the older contracts, end, and you can bring up some more of the youth. If that's the problem, like I said on last week's show, I'm not worried about that, because that's still this team's strong suit. But right now, if you're saying, are they a real threat this year? I don't think so, because I think what you'll see them doing is coming back down to earth, sadly enough, later on in the season, and it balancing out a little bit.
Well, now another interesting observation that you have to make is how the team has been. You're right. They have had to persevere, considering the fact that, they have made their defensive lapses in judgment. But now you look back at the games like the one in the game against Dallas, where we got off to a really weird start. Dallas wound up scoring first, and all scored by the same guy too, Devin Shore, who scored both goals for Dallas, who have been lackluster in offense. You got to wonder, is that's just bad defensive play at times where they've had their lapses in judgment. But luckily enough, though, Braden Shen countered that by deciding to have a hat trick that day. So luckily that all eased out. But you are right, though. There have been some lapses in judgment on that one. But I think we should also give credit where credit is due, though. There's not as many as there were at the beginning. Like we were seeing at the beginning of the season, where it was consistent, where we were expecting a really bad mistake to come back and haunt the Flyers. They haven't made as many. They have made some, though, but they've really kind of cut that down. They're trimming the fat a little bit on those defensive errors.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I still smell peaches and cream coming from you because
well, I mean, you got to admit it's a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
right, but here's the thing though, it's because you're seeing the potentiality there, and that there's not going to be always these growing pains that we've covered, like since a couple shows ago.
Pretty much.
Yeah, well before Breakfast on Broad, by the way. Just saying. I just heard them talk about it as a novel concept, growing pains. I'm like, get a clue. Anyway,
novel concept.
But see, the thing of it is you see Hackstall really juggling the defensive pairings a lot, really seeing what works. Right now, it's sort of trial by error. And if they can shore that up and find good pairings, get Andrew McDonald the hell off the ice if you can, with injury standpoints, the weakness of this team will trend upwards. So, am I happy? Am I confident about the Flyers? Yeah, they're a team that's on the up and up, right? Are they a real threat this year? That remains to be seen.
That is definitely something that does remain to be seen, but one person who should be giving a huge nod is Jake Voracek, who winds up becoming the NHL's first star of the week, and that is coming off of the back that he was able to pull off just some amazing stats right here. He has 3 goals, 6 assists for 9 points in the last 4 games played. He has back-to-back 4-point games, and he's got 11 goals, 21 assists for 32 points in 31 games played in total, tied for second in the NHL, and 13 power play points. He's tied for third in the NHL. If anybody was hoping that Jake the Snake would make a comeback, he has officially made a comeback. He has absolutely been lighting the lamp up. He's been tearing it up. That's what you want to see from this team. And that's what you want to see from Jake Voracek, who's been a huge contributing factor to why the Flyers have been able to kind of ride that wave a little bit and get there. Not only that, power play has been deadly too. It has been causing some problems to some other teams. And the overtime's gone our way too, which is a little strange because usually when we go to the extra time, if we don't finish it in OT, the shootout is never something we want to go to.
Yeah,
that's something you want to avoid with the plague.
The power play has been something that the Flyers have been hoping that would come around over the last couple of years, and this year it has. Going into the game against Detroit, they were, in fact, first in the league in power play.
I know. It's
that
awesome.
That 3-goal power play effort by Braden Shen on Saturday afternoon against the Dallas Stars really helped. And I think and a big part of it is David Hackstall's system. And I think a lot of these players, especially on the power play, they're starting to get the system down.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a different kind of system. It's new to the NHL, too. Let's remember that. This is more of a college system that's being brought in. When you're bringing that in, there's always going to be a weird kind of transitional period because you're leaving the college game for Dave Hackstall and you're coming to the NHL. Rules are completely different in some aspects. Obviously, you can fight in the NHL. You can't fight in college. You can have certain kind of checking is allowed. There are certain rules that are just completely different in college that will totally throw you off for a loop completely when you get to the NHL. And then when you add to that, you also have to take into account that the players had to adjust to it as well, coming out of a broken system that was Craig Berube's and trying to transition into a more heavy offensive system from a defensive system. There's going to be that problem right from the get-go. But you're starting to see that team really adapt to it very, very well. And that's the best part about Dave Hackstall's system is that college system is going to be a pain in the ass for a lot of NHL teams to get used to. Because NHL teams have never really seen anything like that.
Right. Just to piggyback both two of your points, you're talking about Jake Voracek, number 1 star. This is coming off of Steve Mason being the number 1 star the week before. So, Flyers really showing up in the league's best. Now talking Braden Shen and the hat trick, Brian, all 3 goals scored on the power play. He's only one of 4 Flyers ever to do that. Timmy Kerr did it twice against L.A. and Chicago in 85 and 86. Brian Propp did it against Minnesota North Stars, I'm assuming at that time. Yeah, 88. No doubt about it.
Safely to say, yeah.
Right. And then Scott Hartnell against New York Islanders in 2008. You're talking 2 players since 88 have done it.
I remember that game when he did that against the Islanders.
Yes,
that was cool. I love that team. 2008 was a fun year.
Yeah. And we can't forget the contribution that the captain's been playing awesome. Maybe, all stoked from the engagement or whatever, has been scoring at an electric clip, but also adding to the assist totals. And during this 9-game streak, he actually passed the aforementioned Eric Lindros with his 370th assist, ranking number 5 all-time behind Bobby Clark, Brian Propp, Bill Barber, and Mark Recchi. So you could say all you want about Fraud Giroux and him being up and down. Well, every player is going to be up and down. You got to look at the body of the work. And when and the Flyers have had some remarkable scorers on this team. Reggie Leach, McLeish, Timmy Kerr, Barber, Clark, right? These aren't just a few names, and more recent, John LeClaire, Renberg, Lindros, Forsberg. There's been a long list, and Claude Giroux showing up in all those lists. So you can shove the Fraud Giroux talk, really.
No, I'm with you. Claude Giroux has really been one of the more consistent players on this team since he's been on the roster. I believe he has somewhere around 400 and some odd points for his career already. Something like that. I'll look that up.
He has at least 370 assists, so I'm assuming.
Oh yeah,
well
so
over
then
the
it's probably closer to 500.
I'll look it up for you right now.
He's already, he's already flirting with that number with Eric Lindros. So I think he's a way better captain than Lindros was. I think he's definitely a way more productive captain than Lindros ever was.
Well, he's not a head case, which Lindros was.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's the major thing of why it could be. You could assume that immediately is because Giroux's never been known to be a head case. He's always been the kind of just like, I just got to play. That's pretty much how he's always been his whole career.
That's true.
Lindros was a head case. If things didn't go his way, he wasn't afraid to let people know about it.
And also, they're two different styles of play. Giroux's more of like a finesse playmaker. Lindros was a power forward.
And not only that, also the league's different now. Back when Lindros was playing, you could throw the body around like nobody's business. No one cared. If you hit somebody in the head, unless they were out cold, you did not get penalized. No one cared back then.
Getting back to Drew's numbers to answer your question, Brian, 546 total career points, 175 goals, 371 assists. So he's gotten one more since passing Lindros last week against the Stars. So, yeah, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely a good sign here to see a captain like Claude Giroux, who is being an elite player in the NHL. You need him to be an elite player in the NHL to not only set the example, but also because he needs to lead by example, which is what he's doing. And not only that, it's working. It's working because look at all of the offensive production we've seen from this team. One thing that has not been a problem for the Flyers this year has been finding offense. It's even from the lowest tier, too. We're finding it from the third line. Even fourth liners are scoring. It's just like, wow, this team's scoring on all lines. You're not safe at any point against this team, no matter who's out there. Lyubimov could be out there, and he could score 2 goals in one night. You don't know. It's as simple as that. And Lyubimov may only play 20-something games this year.
Even Mark Streit's having a quietly really good season for the Flyers. Offensively.
Yep, and I love that. Why? Trade bait.
Potentially,
I'm still 100% on the trade bait train with Mark Streit. I think that should be something we look into come trade deadline time, especially if once we figure out where we're at, if we need to add something or if we just need to shed something, and then be like, okay, perfect. We got a perfect trade bait for a playoff team. Like, hey, you want some veteran scoring? Take Mark Streit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And getting rid of Streit's going to shed some cap room, too.
I like it. I love it. So keep on scoring, Streit. Hopefully we won't see you in a Flyers jersey for much longer.
The difference between trade bait and jail bait, difference about, 30 years?
Yeah, I think only Provy and TK can hit things like that. But anyway, moving on. So
I don't even think Provy. Provy's, 19?
19.
Yeah, so is TK. They could get away with it.
Well, I mean, there's a 2-year.
Yeah, there's that Cinderella law. They can get away with it. They can get away with it.
Please do not allow my stupid humor to thwart our momentum. Let's move on.
But anyway, another person I want to bring up on the highlights, Anthony Stolarz, man. Stolie the goalie. 2 starts, 2 wins. He's been playing phenomenal, and he's played interspersely. He played against Calgary. He almost spent a week on the bench. He comes up against Detroit on a back-to-back in Detroit, which is not an easy place to play in, no matter how bad or how good the Red Wings are. The Joe Louis is not a fun place to play in, and he winds up posting a shutout on the Detroit Red Wings. And yeah, I know some people may say, yeah, but the Red Wings aren't as good as they have been in the past. It's like, yeah, okay, no duh, but they're still a dangerous team. At any point, they can score at any time. So I love that. I love seeing what he was able to do against the Red Wings. And not only that, getting a big come-from-behind win from Braden Shen, he basically gave us that win. He stole it from the Red Wings.
And the Red Wings played pretty well in that game. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Flyers were matching them, step by step. But any team that has a player like Dylan Larkin, a really dynamic player like that, the goalie's got to come forth strong and provide that brick wall like we gave the live look in on Twitter. Yeah. And it's great to see him thriving in the NHL setting. Obviously I'm very high on him in terms of our long-term plans, but it just gives the confidence that when Mason needs a break, you're not missing much of a beat, and this is all before Neuwirth comes back from his injury. So it's just providing consistency. I mean, if Brian said it once, he said it 1,000 times. Hockey's all about consistency.
Oh, absolutely. That's the main part of a goalie. If you're not consistent, you're not going to be on the team. Right. It's the same thing as in pitching and baseball. You have to be consistent. Right. Or in other words, you're not going to be on the team very long.
And let's give credit to the Red Wings defense. They did a phenomenal job keeping the Flyers off the score sheet. So, you get down to the 3-on-3 situation, a situation that the Flyers have often thrived in. There was a couple opportunities maybe after the first 2 minutes that the Flyers just dominated, where Detroit came very close to winning that game, making the key save and then eventually setting up the game winner.
I know Stolarz saved that game multiple times for the Flyers on Sunday. That Detroit Red Wing offense really is, without Abdelkader, is a very dangerous offense.
Oh, it is. They've got a lot of great scoring, not just from Dylan Larkin, but they got a lot of great secondary players who can just put the puck in the back of the net. That Detroit team is still dangerous. I don't think anybody – I know that they're not currently in playoff positioning at this time, but still, throw that out the window. They're still a dangerous team. Don't let that fool you. Will they make the playoffs this year? I don't know, but don't ever sleep on the Red Wings.
No, I mean, you still got Henrik Zetterberg as your captain, and to me, he's still one of the best centermen in the league.
Age has not really caught up with him too much at all.
No, I mean, a little bit. He's not as offensively productive as he usually is, and that's okay because he's getting older.
Well, yeah. That's the first thing to go.
Yeah, and you expect that to go down, but his leadership quality will never, ever diminish. It doesn't matter how old you are.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'll probably go down as one of the best Red Wings captain in history, and that's saying a lot considering the Red Wings have been around for how long, and they've got guys like Gordie Howe that have been on the team.
Right.
That says a lot about Henrik Zetterberg. But
I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch because I can think of one other one that's better than Zetterberg. But Zetterberg, he's a great. I'm not saying anything bad about Zetterberg, but
I didn't say
you got to compare. You got to compare him to like Nicholas Lidstrom, Gordie Howe, Sergei Fedorov, Steve Yzerman.
Okay, yeah, but I was just saying he's amongst them.
No, absolutely. I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with you for once.
I was going to say, I was like, why are you disagreeing with me here?
I'm agreeing with
you. Like, it was kind of easy. But anyway.
Yeah, he's a scumbag.
Yeah. Which one? Yzerman or Lidstrom?
The whole lot of them.
The whole lot of them? No, not Mr. Hockey. Mr. Hockey's not. He's above being a scumbag.
I thought he was talking about me.
One. Oh, well, that goes without saying. Yeah. But anyway.
He said it goes without saying.
Oh, it's all love, Brian.
You know what? No, who's the true scumbag here, going back to the Dallas game, right, is defenseman Jamie oh, man.
Let me take a look.
Olziak.
Thank
there we
you.
go.
You hear it in your head, and the mouth doesn't want to cooperate. Olziak suspended 2 games for an illegal check to the head of Flyers for Chris Vanderbilt. That was terrible hit. I'm glad he got 2 games. Probably should have got more.
We'll call him Oli Sack from now on, just because it'd be more fun to call him that. But anyway,
it is a high hit. He caught him with the elbow.
Yeah.
a lot of Edmonton Oilers fans may be calling our own Brandon Manning a scumbag for when going back to the Flyers-Oilers game, a big to do about him talking trash with McDavid, telling him that that was on purpose last year when he tripped him and he went flying into the boards and broke his collarbone.
I know he didn't do that on purpose. That was just it was a hard play. All three players lost their footing, and unfortunately McDavid just kind of hit the boards awkwardly. Brandon Manning even came out and said in the press that, and this isn't to say that it's true, but he came out and said that I don't go into these games with the intention of hurting people. I go into these games to play hard because that's the style of play that I bring to the ice, and that's my value.
Right. Exactly. I mean, what is said during the game, whatever, it just goes to show that he's a whiny bitch. He's like Crosby West out there, that he can't take it or whatever. Because he comes out in the media and he says, I did all I could defending him last year in the media. Everyone wanted to make a big deal saying he did it on purpose, and he wanted to say some comments today about what went on last year. I thought it was one of the most classless things I've ever seen on the ice. He said some things, and our guys responded accordingly. I guess we can put the whole if he did it on purpose thing behind us. The one thing I could say that it gives it, he was challenged to fight and he didn't fight. You know what I mean? I could see that a little bit, but that's not his game, man. He's more
really
of a get underneath your skin defense, man.
That's exactly what he does. He doesn't make the comments to try and prove whether or not he did it on purpose or not. He's saying it to get under your skin, to get into your head, to get you off your game.
See, that's the thing, though, about Connor McDavid is this is actually not good for him just starting out as a player. Yeah, he's infinitely talented, but when you go off and you make excuses about why something happened or why this happened and you want to scapegoat because your team lost at the end of the day, be like, you know what? That's not the way to be a leader in the locker room. Because now you're just going to come off as a whiny bitch in the NHL, and we all know how they fly in the NHL. Crosby can tell you, first and foremost, he's probably the most hated player in the league because he is a whiny bitch, and we all know it's true.
Right.
McDavid will be right there with him. I mean, yeah, is he in good company talent-wise? Yes. But, again, are you going to keep making excuses, or are you going to let your hockey do the talking for you at the end of the day?
Exactly.
And know what? I'm going to reference this back in the day, back when the game was just a little bit tougher. Lemieux and Gretzky. And I hate having to compare them all the time. But you know what? Did you ever hear Lemieux bitch and moan?
No.
Did you ever hear Lemieux complain?
No.
The man went through hell. He got the shit beat out of him by the Capitals all the time because the Caps wanted to injure him because they knew he'd beat them. He had cancer, and you never heard him once bitch and moan about it.
Feel sorry for me, man. Nothing.
Did Gretzky ever bitch? Not really.
No.
Yeah, did Gretzky every once in a while make an ignorant, snobby statement? Yeah, but you know what? He's the great one, and he just kind of says what he says. But at the end of the day, though, did he ever bitch and moan about a call not going his way? No. Did he ever bitch and moan about a team beating him? No. Like, I'm sorry. Did something happen between the generations? Was the PC bullshit is what started this, and all of a sudden Crosby can't handle being in the league, and neither can Connor McDavid out of nowhere? Gretzky and Lemieux make these two look like complete bitches because they could take worse than them.
Right.
Well, I mean, as far as talent goes, you can McDavid, Crosby, those guys are just as talented as Lemieux and Gretzky.
Yes.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference. Those guys didn't have to bitch because they had guys that were going to fight for them.
Right.
They had enforcers that were basically saying, here, your job is to protect Gretzky, Marty McSorley.
True.
Your job is to protect Lemieux. I believe it was Rick Tocchet, and I'm sure there were others.
And Samuelson was around for a while, yeah.
So, I mean, it's a difference in the games that I think really brings out the big difference between back then and now.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. You take enforcers out of this game, some of your stars get more at them. So, I mean, that's to their defense. Yeah, I get it.
And they're going to voice their opinions a little bit more because they got no protection.
But here's the thing, Brian. It's how you do it.
Yeah.
Take it out on the ice, maybe a little bit in the media. Take it out on the ice, right? Because, look, let's look at Crosby for one quick second. 21 goals on the season. 6 goals in his last 6 games, right? This sport is struggling because there is no face of this organization because whiny bitches like Crosby or future whiny bitches like McDavid can't hold that rein and man the man up.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah, you will say that there were grinders back then. There was their job to fight and protect. It was their bodyguards out on the ice. But, and this is a bad example, sometimes the captain does have to lead by example. Sometimes they have to drop the gloves and throw it a little bit. I'm not saying you do it routinely, but I'm just saying every once in a blue moon, and this happens like maybe once every 3 or 4 seasons, if someone challenges you, you drop the gloves and you say, guess what? I don't need anyone to protect me. I'll knock you the F out right now. I don't need him to protect me. I can kick your ass. And you know what? Perfect example. Again, he did cry a little bit. Lindros. Lindros didn't need anybody protecting him. Lindros could knock you out on his own. And he did it. I mean, one time it was him and Scott Stevens collided, and he knocked Scott Stevens out. Albeit, though, Scott Stevens got the last laugh out of that, the scumbag. But still, Lindros could drop it, and he wasn't afraid to drop it at the end of the day.
I'm glad you brought that up.
But he did cry a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because Crosby's one that has never really steered away from dropping the gloves if he needed to. He's got a good handful of fights under his belt in his career. Now, McDavid might need to be the one that has to do that, but I've seen Crosby fight quite a few times.
Okay, so there you go. You go with that. Lead by example on your team. Don't be afraid to drop the gloves at the end of the day. Now, I've never seen Crosby drop the gloves. I'm actually interested. Could you show me some of those fights, actually? I really want to see them.
They weren't good.
They weren't good?
They weren't good.
Oh, well then.
But, he's defended himself.
Okay, well, at least he's done that. All right.
But here's the difference, and you know what? I'll call a spade a spade. Lindros was of the same ilk. Fight, fine. Don't whine about it afterwards. And you know what? Lindros was a bit of a whiner.
He was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do I put him in the same boat? Not quite, but I'll be fair. To one of our own or whatnot. He cried at the ESPYs. Come on now.
No. I mean, I'm not saying. Believe me, I'm not trying to defend like McDavid or Crosby or any of these other guys for bitching and moaning at the media. I'm not trying to do that at all. But I'm just trying to say, it's a different game now. Players. Yeah, they're tough. They'll deal with their injuries, but when it comes to playing dirty, they don't like it.
Right.
Well,
and it also comes with the fact that these captains aren't protected like they used to be.
I don't know if it's. I mean, playing dirty wise, that's different. I mean, the like slew footing and diving and stuff like that. That's different. I mean, just sticking up for yourself at the end of the day. That's all I'm saying. Is just sticking up for yourself and just saying, you know what? Hey, I don't need anybody to protect me. I'll just kick your ass right now. I do not care. I don't care if I'm the captain. I don't care if they need me on the special teams. I'll just kick your ass.
I agree.
That's what I want to see more of. A captain that can lead by example. You don't see Giroux backing down from a fight. Never.
Right.
I've never seen Giroux back down from a fight, and he doesn't bitch and moan.
And there are some guys that don't even give their captain a chance. They'll just jump right in and push the captain out of the way because they know the value of the captain.
Like Simmons.
Simmons does that all the
Simmons
time.
will immediately do that. Yeah, Simmons is the go-to guy. If someone needs to fight, he'll fight.
They know the value of the captain, and they don't want the captain off the ice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we may be seeing him fight in February. Circle your calendars. Philadelphia plays at Edmonton on February 16th. That should be interesting.
That should be a fun one there. Bloodbath. I'm calling it right now. Someone's going to be walking out with some few teeth, I think, to say the least in that one. That'd be a nice one. Old-time hockey back in the day. And the Flyers will probably, hopefully, whip the Oilers' ass. Probably won't because we got to go to Edmonton. But anyway.
It's the only reason why my dad says he likes watching hockey because it makes him feel okay with his, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, there's my smile. When they're showing like old, or Sean Couturier
or old pictures of Bobby Clark.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Love you, Dad.
All right. So.
He said it.
All love to Papa Povia. But anyway, on to our commercial break. When we come back, it's time to go around the league. We'll go through the topics and what's going on in the NHL. And just because we want to have a little bit of fun, we're going to go 1 through 16 in the league. And we're going to see what team in the NHL would win the Stanley Cup with no conferences, no division, no Einstein Project bullshit that the NHL likes to have you perform for the playoffs every year. It's just number 1 through number 16. Who wins? We'll do that all on the other side. But first, I want to talk to you guys about Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public counsel located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. Give them a call, 215-369-3300. Tax season is almost here. Be ready. Be prepared. Get Gibson Mayer. We are the Hockey Happy Hour, live on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
No more bitches in the NHL. That's what I stand for. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we are brought to you by Liberty Event Rentals, located at 2154 East Cambria Street in Philadelphia, PA. Give them a call, 267-314-7368. They got tables, chairs, tents, linens, everything that you need for your party and event needs. And they're located at www.libertyeventRentals.com.
Next argument we have, we got to play that bed. I'm sorry, that's awesome.
That is a cool bed. I feel like I'm getting ready to play NHL hits with that. Anyway.
That'd be a nice if we ever pull back face off or
yeah,
or a penalty or what was it?
The penalty box.
Yeah, we had the penalty box back in the day.
Yeah, that was fun. All right, so now it's time to go around the league before we get into some fantasy fun with a little bit of playoff. But before, Rob, what we got in the NHL?
Sure, man. We talked a little bit last week, was just coming in about Montreal Canadiens suffered an injury to Alex Galchenyuk. Well, it's been announced that he will be out 6 to 8 weeks due to his knee injury. And then on top of that, David Desharnais is also going to be out 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury. So the Canadiens got double trouble there and got tagged with 2 long-term injuries for 2 of their best forwards. Yeah, it could happen to a better team.
Wow.
And now they responded last Saturday. Montreal scored 6 goals in the opening period against Colorado, including 5 in the span of 5 minutes and 45 seconds. Now you could say, well, I guess maybe they're not missing these forwards too much. I think just shows how bad Colorado is.
Well, Max Pacioretty stepped up with that C on his chest and scored 4 of those goals, so good for him.
Right?
Man, you've heard of some spankings, but man, they took the paddle out and they just kept going well after it was due. Damn, man.
Absolutely.
Damn.
Hey, Colorado came out in the very next game and beat Boston, so good for them.
Well, still, that's not a good game.
No, every team has those at some point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although it is good, though, that they came off of that. I mean, they're coming off of a win, but we get to face them on Wednesday, so hopefully they keep that, that bad feelings going.
Yes,
Hopefully.
sir. Yes,
Well,
sir.
then you won't like my prediction later.
Oh, boy. Well, moving on, it was announced just a little earlier today, the top division vote getters for the All-Star captains. Right now, they're currently P.K. Subban for Nashville, Sidney Crosby for Pittsburgh, Connor McDavid for Edmonton, and Carey Price for Montreal, all having pretty phenomenal seasons despite 2 of them being bitches. But, I mean, Crosby, 21 goals on the season, 6 goals in his last 6 games, and 9 in his last 10. I don't think there's anybody hotter right now than Sidney Crosby. Commissioner Gary Bettman came out and says the governors expressed concerns about NHL players participating in the Olympics. I thought this was already determined. This is why they had the World Cup of Hockey.
Well, I don't think they've officially announced that they're not going to put the pros in the Olympics. I don't think they ever announced that, but I think that that's what their intention was when they made the World Cup of Hockey, to hold that every other year and not have the Olympics involved with the NHL whatsoever. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll see what the Board of Governors say, but I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see pros in the Olympics anymore for hockey.
I mean, me personally, I don't think we should be seeing pros in the Olympics anyway. There's really no other pro athletes. It's an amateur event. If you get paid to do something, you shouldn't be allowed to participate in the Olympics. Like, if that's your job, if you're a professional hockey player, you shouldn't be allowed to play. It's an amateur event.
Yeah. No, agreed, man. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind seeing the NHL players in there, but it's an amateur event. With the pros, you're going to see the same teams keep winning.
Right.
Or the same countries, I should say, not the same teams.
Yeah, Canada's won the gold the last 3 Olympics, so
Let's see what the amateurs do. You could see a random Germany gold medal somewhere, or a random Czechoslovakia gold medal somewhere. You never know. Just let's see what the amateurs do.
Maybe cross your fingers. A random United States gold medal, possibly.
Yeah, I probably should have said
Miracle
that
on
first.
ice, hopefully. Beat Russia? I don't know.
Deport this man.
Which, you know what's funny? They were all amateurs in that Olympic gold medal game.
Yeah,
and that's my point. It makes it a little bit more exciting. It's a more level playing field.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very true. Although I wouldn't consider that Soviet team amateurs.
No, I'm not saying. But they're not professionals, though. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, I had to do it. Anyway, all right.
I don't like you anymore.
Anything else, Rob?
Oh, yeah. I have to say this. This will be leading into our tournament. I think we should name the tournament in honor of this man, 2-time Stanley Cup winner with the Red Wings and former Flyers coach. Bill Dineen passed away on Saturday at the age of 84. It was said that he died in his sleep Saturday at his home in Lake George, New York. Certainly one of the great hockey men in this league, one of the great coaches for the Flyers. His son Kevin played for the Flyers as well as the Hartford Whalers. One of my favorite players growing up, Kevin Dineen, and Bill Dineen taught him everything he knew and then some. So he'll definitely be sorely missed.
Yeah, it is a shame. It's a tough loss for that. We send of course the condolences and everything to the Dineen family.
Yeah, 84 years old, certainly a long life. But yeah, any loss is a huge loss. I'm trying to see if it was announced. I thought I had read that it was pneumonia, but I'm not 100% on that. It doesn't say that in this article. So, I mean, like I said, certainly long life, and definitely wish you well. Wish the family, the Denines, all the best.
Yep. So, to add a little bit of positive to that, I guess it's time we do our honorary Bill Dineen Fantasy Stanley Cup Playoff Tournament.
Love it.
Why don't we get started? So, how the system works is simple. We go from the number 1 team in the NHL to the 16th team in the NHL. No conferences, no divisions, none of that bullshit. It's all 1 through 16. If you are in that top 16, you're in the playoffs. So, here's how the seeds come out to. The number 1 overall team in the NHL currently, the Montreal Canadiens, against the 16th team, the Los Angeles Kings. Number 2, the Pittsburgh Penguins, battling it out against the number 15 San Jose Sharks. Number 3, New York Rangers against number 14, the Calgary Flames. Number 4, Chicago Blackhawks, 3-time Stanley Cup champions against the Boston Bruins, number 13. Number 5, the Philadelphia Flyers, the orange and the black, versus the number 12 Ottawa Senators. Number 6, the Columbus Blue Jackets against the number 11 Minnesota Wild. The number 7 Washington Capitals, led by Ovechkin, against the number 10 Connor McDavid-led Edmonton Oilers. And number 8, the St. Louis Blues versus number 9, Brian's Anaheim Ducks.
Oh, crap. They're in the top 16?
Yes, they are. They're at number 9. So,
3-game win streak really moved them up.
Yeah, it certainly did all right. And now we move to our first matchup of the day, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Los Angeles Kings in the first round. And I have the Montreal Canadiens obviously winning this one. But I do have the Kings winning 1 game. I think if Johnny Quick, he puts a shutout in. He gets a bit of a victory.
We're assuming John Quick is healthy at this point.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll assume Johnny Quick's healthy at this point. He pulls out an underdog victory for the Kings, but that's pretty much it. The Canadiens win it in 5.
I can see that.
I'm going to go against the grain here, and it's tough because Montreal, only giving up 64 goals on the season, much to due to Carey Price, and scoring 92. It's hard to pick against them. You never see a 16 beating a 1, but Jonathan Quick is the type of goaltender that can steal games. I mean, Carey Price, too, for that matter, but the Kings are 71-70 in terms of goals for and goals against. That would be a much closer disparity to the Canadiens had Quick been healthy this whole year. So I'm going to go in the upset. I'm going Los Angeles Kings upset the Canadiens.
In how many games?
7 games.
In 7 games. 7-game series, and the Canadiens are already out. Wow.
I don't know. I like Montreal's offense. I think they got a stronger defense than LA does.
I think that the one major factor that LA has is Johnny Quick, but I think Carey Price is the perfect checkmate to that. So I think that's the major reason why Montreal wins this series, and pretty soundly too.
And Montreal being 14-1-2 at home, that would help in their home games there. So
Yeah.
Hey, I got to pick somebody else. You can't pick the same player. It'd be boring radio.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, got you on that one. All right, so Rob's got the Kings moving on in 7. I got the Canadiens in 5. How many you got them in?
I got them in 6.
In 6. Okay, so a little bit more competitive from you guys than me. All right, to 2 versus 15, the Pittsburgh Penguins and the San Jose Sharks, a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup Finals. This is why this would be an awesome playoff system. But anyway, first round, and it's a Stanley Cup Final rematch. All right, so we got Pittsburgh versus San Jose. I say we have a repeat of what happened in the Stanley Cup Finals. Sharks come to play, but I think Pittsburgh wins it in 6 and moves on to the next round. What about you, Brian?
I like Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh in 5. Pittsburgh's
okay.
team hasn't really changed much. San Jose's team isn't as dynamic as it was into the playoffs last year. I mean, I like the way that Marty Jones has been playing, but I think his defense is playing a little under what they were playing last year, and the offense definitely isn't as dynamic.
Yeah, so you would say in 5. Rob, what you got?
I think the Penguins just would demolish the San Jose Sharks the way they're playing this year. Sharks have only scored 68 goals on this season opposed to 61 against. And you're looking at the Penguins, who have scored 104 goals, one off the leader, New York Rangers 105. They would just barrage them with shots, barrage them with goals. I think Pens would sweep.
All right, then. So we all got the Pens moving on. Moving on to number 3 versus 14, the New York Rangers, the blue shirts of Broadway, versus the young and hungry maybe, Calgary Flames, who have been very underperforming this year. I would actually say the Rangers sweep this one. And the reason why I say that is, like you had said before, the Rangers would absolutely barrage Calgary. Not that Calgary doesn't have an offense, but for whatever reason, it has not come up to play.
Right.
And Brian Elliott, he can only do so much. So I would say this is a sweep for the Rangers all day, every day. They move on.
I completely 100% agree.
Brian?
I don't know. I think Calgary can upset them.
Really? You're going to go against the grain here. So do you think Calgary wins it? How?
I think Calgary winds up winning in 7.
In 7? Oh.
But I think Henrik Lundqvist collapses in this playoff like he usually does.
Well, he usually does have a collapse at some point.
And I'll be honest with you. Calgary's defense isn't that great. Brian Elliott hasn't been playing that well. But Calgary's got a pretty good offense.
They do. They really, really do. But so do the Rangers. That's the thing, you know? That's the one trump card that I think the Rangers could use against them is that their offenses kind of match in a way.
I think the Rangers absolutely have a better offense than Calgary does, but I don't know. I just got a feeling that if these two teams were to meet right now, Calgary could upset them.
All right.
Because
Okay.
you might have that goalie controversy going on over in L.A. or New York because of Andy Ranta has been playing very, very well too.
Yeah,
so
he
that
has
could be a
been.
distraction in the locker room.
That could be. And let's see. We move on to number 4 on this one because me and Rob got the Rangers moving on in a sweep. You got Flames on in 7. Blackhawks and Bruins.
Ooh, the black and blue. I love it.
This is another rematch of a Stanley Cup final. But you know what? The way Boston's been playing, I know Rask's been playing really well, and I know everyone's going to jump down my throat. But I'm going to say the Blackhawks really, just being the playoff team that they are, they sweep Boston. I really think the Blackhawks would come out swinging, and I don't think the Bruins would be able to handle it personally.
You said Bruins,
Sweep?
not Blues. Sorry about that, folks.
I think
not the black and blue.
I think the Blackhawks would actually sweep the Bruins. I still think the Blackhawks, we haven't heard the last of them. As much as, they've been playing really well, and I know everyone's going to say, yeah, but they probably won't win another cup again. I don't know about that one.
No, I definitely think the Blackhawks could totally win another cup, and I'm not trying to say that at all. But Boston is still a strong team offensively. Tuukka Rask has been playing lights out hockey. It's going to definitely be a 6 or 7 game series, but I could see Boston upsetting Chicago.
Okay, do you have Boston upsetting Chicago?
I have Boston upsetting Chicago.
In 6 or 7?
Why not a sweep?
Boston, believe it or not, Boston's too good to be swept.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say 6.
All right, 6. Rob?
I'm going to pick the Blackhawks, but I'm going to say a longer series. I say they win it in 6 because any team with Brad Marchand and
Patrice
Bergeron, two-way play. I mean, these are older players now with Chara, but they could still the expertise. And, I'm a big fan of Tuukka Rask, too.
I got it. It's just I don't know. When you're facing a team like the Blackhawks who've been there so many times and a team that's kind of floundered over the last couple seasons in Boston, yeah, Rask has been playing really well, but I'm not completely sold. I'm sorry. Boston's getting too old, in my opinion. I think the Blackhawks would have a chance at them easy.
You're just
personally.
too old. You're so old.
Moving on. Number 5 versus number 12. The orange and the black. The Philadelphia Flyers. The Bullies of Broad Street against the Ottawa Senators. Have not faced each other in quite some time. And I actually think the Flyers would be able to win this series. I think they'd win it in 6. Ottawa would be a tough opponent, though. Don't get me wrong. Ottawa's right here with us. But I think the Flyers could actually pull it out and get a series victory in 6.
I'm going to go with Ottawa.
Really? Huh?
No, of course not. It's the Flyers. No doubt about it. What kind of homer would I be? No. If you look at it this way, though, folks, look, 70 goals for, 78 against, it's a -8 differential, whereas the Philadelphia Flyers have 101 goals, third best in the league, and they've given up quite a few, 94 against or whatever, but that's still a differentiation of +7. Because of those numbers, the Flyers get the edge in that series, and I'd say they win it in 5.
Okay.
I mean, no disrespect. I know Anderson's going through, issues with his wife or whatever, but I don't think the goaltending matches up. I really don't.
I agree, but I still think Ottawa can win. Mike Condon has still been playing very well. I like the leadership factor on the defense with Dion Phaneuf and Erik Karlsson. Plus, their offense looks really good. I mean, you got Mike Hoffman, Bobby Ryan, Mark Stone. Like, those three guys alone are built really well around them, and they spread them out beautifully, too, throughout the lines, so all the offense is spread out instead of just conjoined all together.
Makes sense. That's an argument for them. Yep.
So
I like Ottawa in 7.
Oh,
Ottawa in 7. Wow.
dirty bastard.
Flyers will stick in.
Get out of here, Ducks fan. Get out of here.
Fine, I'll see you guys later.
Oh, wait, you're producing. Never mind.
All right. So
Make up your mind.
So Flyers, Ottawa. Moving on. Next we go to the 6 versus 11, the Columbus Blue Jackets against the Minnesota Wild. Now, I'm going to say Minnesota wins this series. I know everyone's probably going to be like, oh, but I'm sold on the Blue Jackets, man. They're kicking ass. They're taking names. Let's say, yes, John Tortorella is not a bad coach. I get that. But the Wild, in my opinion, are so good defensively. I think they can handle anything Columbus throws at them. And I also think goaltending-wise, Bobrovsky, I think he might get a little nerves out of nowhere. I mean, we've seen it happen before. Yes, he's much more seasoned now than he was in the past, but he still doesn't have as much playoff experience as one would like to have. I think Minnesota could take advantage of that and win it in 6. I mean, Columbus is going to make a series out of it, but I think Minnesota still wins at the end of the day. They have more experience in the playoffs.
I just see Columbus beating the Wild at their own game, and that's defense. You look at Columbus, they've only allowed 56 goals on the season. Now, they've only scored 87, but that's still a plus 31 goal differential. What I saw preseason's coming to fruition, a strong defense, enough adequate scores to win hockey games, and great goaltending. So I'm going to go with Columbus in this. I'm going to go Columbus in 6.
I like that. Columbus in 6. I agree.
Okay, then.
This would be one of the more entertaining series, though, in this mock.
Well, it's because
tournament.
these two teams are almost exactly the same when you look at them on paper. But the only reason why I'm picking Minnesota is because they have guys like Zach Parise, Jason Pominville. They've got a lot of guys who could come out of nowhere and just start scoring. And then that might catch Columbus off guard out of nowhere.
Columbus's defense has been so good that
it's solid. I'm not saying that their defense is bad. I'm just saying that, I just think Minnesota scorers can get through it. Moving on. 2 real fast, 7 and 10. We go to Washington versus Edmonton. This is going to be the shootout of the entire first round, and this is where I see an upset happening. I say the Capitals choke early, and they choke fast. I say the Oilers actually win it in 7 and upset the Capitals and move on to the next round.
I got Washington in this one.
All right.
I think these guys line up offensively and defensively pretty well, but Holtby is a way better goaltender than Cam Talbot.
I know he is, but, I don't know. I think that offense might actually get him through it. I think it might just.
Let's see here. Hatred for Ovechkin versus hatred for McDavid. I've hated Ovechkin longer. I'm going with the Oilers.
All right, then. Moving on. We go real fast before we go to break. St. Louis versus Anaheim. And, sorry, Brian. I got the Blues in 7.
So do I.
I'm going to pick the Ducks.
Okay. All right.
Because you get Hampus Lindholm back. If he's been back for a little bit now, right? I think you'd have to project the Ducks a little higher if he was playing from the beginning of the season. That's why I'm giving them the slight edge in this. If it goes 7 games, of course the Ducks won't win. But I'm going to pick the Ducks in 6.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
I was able to pick Brian's team and insult him in the same sentence.
I was going to say,
what the hell's wrong with me?
I wasn't sure if you were insulting me or not, or if you were actually being truthful. Because if it goes 7, I'm with you. Ducks won't win it.
Right.
Right. I don't think they're going to win it regardless.
So for all
the offense is just too inconsistent this year.
So, kiddies, that is the form of a backhanded compliment where you give something, but you smack them still at the same time. Like, yeah, but you're still a team you can't win Game 7.
I hear what you guys are saying. I mean, St. Louis has made improvements, good acquisitions this year. It hasn't resulted. They're still 8th in all of hockey, but they're a strong team. Anaheim is too, in my opinion.
No, I agree. They're a strong team, but inconsistency is killing them this year.
Right.
Yeah, Yeah, well, it's also killing the Blues a little bit, too. So let's not deny that on the Blues' part. They've been a little inconsistent in their own right.
Blues still win.
But anyway, moving on.
Hey, I've said from the beginning of the year that 1, the Blues are winning the Stanley Cup, and 2, Anaheim will not get out of the first round.
All right, so now that we got all that settled, that will take care of the first round. We got an interesting setup for our brackets. We'll get back to that in a little bit. We'll do a little quarterfinals, and then we'll get to whatever Flyers topics we still have for the previews on the other side. But first, I want to talk to you guys about the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030, or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net, or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030, or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net, or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Because New Day Rocks! New Day rocks! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And speaking of which, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, then go to BMW of Atlantic City. They're easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway, and they are located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Give them a call at 609-568-9200, or check them out online at www.bmwatlanticcity.com.
New Day does rock. And, a little congratulations to them beating Demolition's record for all-time longest holding tag team titles.
Having to not defend the titles once, but twice in the same day.
I was going to say in dramatic fashion, certainly.
Listen, don't get me wrong, I like the New Day. And for the record, that was a good time for that spot because I was actually playing Turnpike.
That's funny.
Anyway, back to what I was going to say. All right, so Monday Night Raw last night, I was really hoping for Roman and Rollins to win that.
Actually, kind of.
I knew they weren't going to, but I was hoping.
It would have been funny, though, if they had actually really ribbed them and had actually cost them the belts.
I was hoping.
That would have been kind of funny. But anyway, moving on to the quarterfinals before we get into the rest of the Flyers talk, and that is starting on my bracket. And, Rob, you got yours, right? Mm-hmm. Brian, you got yours, right?
Nope.
Well, that's going to be interesting. You got it to memory?
I'm going to try.
All right. Moving on. To the quarterfinals we go, and I started off with 1 versus 11, Montreal versus Minnesota, and where Minnesota was able to pull off the upset in the first round, they are not able to do it here. The Canadians defeat them and win in 6. Minnesota manages to get a couple wins in Minnesota, but that's pretty much it. Montreal just seals the deal and sends it home. Rob?
I would have, this is tough to figure out now, because I would actually have, in this scenario, the Penguins versus Edmonton. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Crosby versus Crosby West.
Wow, that's a fun series right there.
So I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh in that one.
Okay. How many?
I think I'll go 6.
6? All right, then. So the Young Bucks get beat by the Penguins. Moving on.
Hang on, I'm trying to say. I can't read your computer screen from here.
Oh.
See, I had... Oh, you got the quarterfinals. Go back up.
Oh, my God. This is why you're supposed to write yours down.
I didn't realize this is what we were doing. I thought the way we usually do it is popular vote moves on.
Damn it, Brian. You can't expect us to keep a formula.
I got Pittsburgh over Montreal.
All right, yeah, Pittsburgh over Montreal. Okay.
Just keep going up and down.
All right. Moving on, my next matchup. Actually, it's was Rob's first matchup. It's Pittsburgh versus Edmonton, believe it or not. And I actually have Pittsburgh moving on in that one as well, but I actually have them winning in 5. I think Edmonton absolutely gets stoned by Pittsburgh because I think Pittsburgh actually counters their offense completely. And whereas they can beat one goalie one time, they cannot beat Matt Murray. They beat Holtby, but they don't beat Murray. Simple as that.
Makes sense. In this stage, I have the Rangers versus the Ducks, 3 versus 9. And I'm going to have to go with as much as it chagrins me, I'll have to go with the Rangers here in this one. They're just too strong.
I would have rather have seen
Maybe
Brian's
5.
team lose in the first round than have them have to suffer the fate of losing to the Rangers.
Well, they're not getting out of the first round in the real-time playoffs anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, you guys wouldn't only be able to face the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals anyway.
Well, I'm just saying.
So
even if we did it, regardless, they're not getting out of the first round.
I would be completely a Ducks fan in that series, by the way, because screw the Rangers. But anyway.
Going up, sir.
All right.
Told you, I didn't write this down.
Damn it, Brian.
What's the second?
The second one was Pittsburgh versus San Jose. And you had Pittsburgh winning.
Right.
What's
and then the Rangers versus?
Rangers versus the Flames, and you had the Flames upsetting them.
I did have the Flames upset. Oh, my thing's all messed up. Count me out.
All right, then. We'll just skip that one. Moving on. 3 versus 8 for me. I got the Rangers versus the Blues, and I say the Blues beat them in 7. Call me crazy, but I think the Blues go on a nice little run here, and the Rangers fall victim to it. And Lundqvist has his obligatory breakdown, as we were talking about earlier. It's this series that they lose to against St. Louis.
Okay.
Rob?
I'm trying to figure out. I got number 4 Blackhawks winning.
Yes.
And I'm trying to see which seed they would play. Because my other matchup would be Flyers versus Blue Jackets, which that'd be a great series too.
Well, it might be the 2 top seeds that you had moving on that would have to face each other.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I missed writing down a matchup. That's what the problem is. I'm trying to figure out what it was.
He missed one. Hey, he missed one. I missed them all. So I'm just going to kick back and listen to you guys.
Well, I'll talk about the Flyers Blue Jackets matchup, number 5 versus number 6. Here I'm gonna, at the risk of sounding like a homer, you argued that the Blue Jackets might not make it out of the first round. So I think the Flyers riding a high from beating Ottawa. Again, they beat the Blue Jackets to move on.
Oh, wow. And how many?
7 games.
7.
Games.
Okay, so that's a tough series. Got it. Nice. We beat Tote's team. I like that.
Yeah, we always like that versus the old friend Scotty Hartnell.
Yeah. Moving on to me, it's 4 versus 5 in my bracket. It's Chicago versus Philly, rematch of the 2010 Stanley Cup Finals, and it goes the same length. 6 games, Chicago wins the series. I'm sorry. I know I'd love to say the Flyers can actually beat them this time, but no. We're not beating Chicago as much as I'd like to say it. Chicago's too good of a playoff team to beat them. I mean, we could in the future. I don't think we can now.
Well, keep in mind, Matty.
Yes.
If we're starting right now.
Oh, if we started right now, it's a different story.
I was going to say no Corey Crawford. I wasn't sure if that's how you were going, like playoffs started today.
No. If they're with Corey Crawford, they're healthy. Yeah, we don't beat the Blackhawks. No. We try valiantly, but we lose.
I did write them down. I just forgot about them. I had the 16 seed beating the Canadians.
That's right. You did.
Yes, the Kings. So my matchup against the Blackhawks would be number 4 Blackhawks versus number 7 Kings. Great. Talking about, teams that have gone back and forth winning the Stanley Cup over recent years, battling it out against each other. I think in the end, Blackhawks, thanks to some of the youth infusion that they've had come in with Panarin, win this series and win it handily.
All right. So you're thinking sweep?
5. I mean,
okay.
Again, Quick steals the game, but Corey Crawford becomes an elite goaltender when it comes to playoff time.
All right, then. So, got mine done. Rob's is done. Brian's is in Never Never Land, lost somewhere. We don't know.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Either way, though, that's that. That's our first part of the tournament for the Bill Dineen and the Bill Dineen tribute. And then we will return to that later on. But now, back to the Flyers. It's time to do a little previewing as we get ready to go against Colorado at 10 o'clock sharp, the Avalanche versus Philadelphia. This is going to be an interesting contest for the Flyers. This will be the first time they're facing the Avalanche this year, and the Avs have not played all that well, but they did come off of a nasty loss to the Montreal Canadiens, spanked the Boston Bruins, and now they got to face Philly. Flyers coming off their 9-game win streak against the Avs. Do you think the Avs underplay or play very well against the Flyers? Do you think they match up well against Philly? Because to me, that's what really counts here since the Avs haven't been playing all that well.
Right. No, absolutely. I mean, they are playing in Colorado, but unfortunately that has not been an advantage for Colorado as they sit with a 4-8-1 record in Denver. I say that the streak continues to number 10, and they win this game against Colorado quite handily. I don't think Colorado's defense is going to be able to have an answer for this prolific offense that is scoring 4 lines deep.
Actually, Semyon Varlamov will not be playing against the Flyers on Wednesday night.
Ooh, right. I like that. That sounds awesome.
I think Colorado might win this game.
They end the streak?
I think they're going to be the team to end the streak. I think the Flyers are going to wind up playing down to how bad – well, I shouldn't say how poorly because they're not playing horrible. They're playing about .500 hockey.
Mediocre.
I think the Flyers play down on them, and Colorado takes advantage. Colorado has too much talent offensively to be playing as poorly as they are.
True, but we've seen teams have all that talent. Look at Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas.
Well,
has a ton of
Dallas's
talent, and
defense
they're
is Dallas's defense has just been horrible.
Oh,
Kari
yeah.
Lehtinen hasn't been playing well at all.
Yeah,
96 goals allowed on the season for
yeah,
Dallas.
that's pretty bad. Yeah,
You would think that it would have been 96 goals for and 75 against, but it's flip-flopped.
totally the opposite.
I mean, I like I'm looking at the roster right now. I love Colorado's roster. They have the roster to be a playoff contender.
Right.
Just I don't think they're going to be one this year.
I mean, it's still early. You never know. They're 11-15-1.
Yeah, they could pull a Tampa Bay Lightning of 04. Go from worst to first.
Calvin Pickard, I think, is going to be getting the start against the Flyers.
Not much experience. That should be
10
interesting.
games played, 9-5 record, 9-5-3-0-1 record.
Make it
I should
so.
say. He's got a 2.72
All
goals against and a .913 save percentage.
Okay, so Rob, you have them winning. What's your score?
I think it's going to be high scoring because, we highlighted a little bit on FDN. Nathan McKinnon is just a scoring machine. So I think this could be like kind of a la the Oilers game, a 6-5 victory for the Flyers.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to go that high. I think it might be like a 4-3 overtime win for Colorado.
That makes a little bit more sense because they're having trouble scoring as a whole unit. Nathan McKinnon's not going to score 5 goals alone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I could see that more. But, maybe some of those secondary players like you were mentioning can chip in a little bit because they are playing at home.
Okay. Now, I've actually got, believe it or not, I actually have them winning, and people are going to hate me for this one. I actually have them losing to Dallas.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I think we really come through in a big gut check situation. I think Colorado comes out swinging, and we're not ready for it. And I think they score first, like a lot of teams do on the Flyers.
Mm-mm.
And I think the Flyers persevere and come back. Whereas in Dallas, we score first. We take our foot off the gas. Dallas comes back and shoves it right up our ass and actually ends the streak in a disgusting fashion.
It is a matinee game at 2 o'clock. Usually Flyers have a little trouble with those.
I'm just saying I think that's more routine for this team. This team loves it when other teams score on them. They persevere.
Right.
But when you score first, you always got to be careful of that because the Flyers have always had that come back to haunt them in a lot of ways. I mean, perfect example, we really should not have had to have played as well as we had to against like Florida.
Right.
But we had to. Florida being a team that has just absolutely not been playing well at all.
Decimated by injury. Yeah.
And we had to win in a shootout. Like, I'm sorry, that's not no. There's no reason for that whatsoever. That should not have happened. I just think like we score first. I think Dallas actually comes back and gets a win. And I think they're also going to want a little bit of revenge on us for kind of stealing a tie game from them.
No, I feel you, man. I feel you. I just, I see better things for the Flyers than you two. They're coming off a stretch where they played 7 games in 11 days. Now you have 2 games in the next 6. Gives them a little time to rest up, certainly get maybe guys a little more healthier into the lineup. I love the matchups at Colorado and at Dallas. I think the streak continues, goes to 11 games, and where I see it ending is on next Monday on the 19th, back at home versus Nashville. Nashville played us tough earlier in the season. Old friend Laviolette coming into the building. We narrowly beat them last time. I think that's where the streak ends.
Interesting. Okay. Well, speaking of that, let's take a look at what the games we do have coming up. Obviously, we do have Colorado and Dallas coming up, as well as that Nashville game, where this week we had a light schedule. We got a real heavy-handed schedule next week. We've got on Monday, the Nashville Preds are coming to town. We have a day off. And then on Wednesday, the Capitals show up for the first time into Philadelphia. Oh, great. And then after that, we got to go up to the Rock and play those damn Devils. And I don't want to face the Devils. I hate the Devils. Seeing that red jersey makes me want to vomit. Actually makes me want to vomit on Devils fans because they're disgusting. So all those New York wannabes. Anyway, but that's a tough week. I mean, we're facing we got one real tough Western Conference team in Pierre Laviolette, like you said. Washington, they are always tough, and they will play tough, and they will come out hitting hard, hitting fast, and will try to score as quickly as possible with Ovechkin leading the way.
Wednesday night rivalry.
And then along with that, then you got to face the Devils on a back-to-back. I do not like that. I do not like having a go back-to-back. You face the Capitals one night, and then you face the Devils, and you know the Devils are going to play the Flyers as hard as they possibly can because the Devils are a good team. Let's not jump to conclusions here and say, oh, well, we'll just beat them like we always do. No, this year the Devils actually have a decent shot of making a run. Believe it or not, they actually do. So I really don't like this week coming up. This is not a fun week. This is not a fun week at all.
Yeah, we were staring up at the Devils before this 9-game win streak, and certainly they haven't done – I mean, the their goal differential is horrible. I mean, they've only scored 69 for and 82 against, but they're a pesky team, and they're 8-1-2 at the Rock. So, that could be but that's why you have Stolarz playing well. So, I mean, it is another back-to-back. It is 3 games in 4 days. But then you have 2 before, New Year's Day, or actually, they break for Christmas break and then have 2 between Christmas and New Year's. So, I don't see them having as difficult of a time with the schedule as you do.
No, I don't see it either. I mean, they've already beaten Nashville. You're seeing Washington for the first time. They're playing back-to-backs a little differently than they have in the past. They're simplifying their game more in the back-to-backs, and it's starting to show, and it's showing in a positive manner. I mean, there's no reason to be scared of your schedule. There's no reason for it. I mean,
if you're not scared by now, you're good, because it's been a hard schedule to start the year.
It has been a hard schedule, but you know what? Flyers have been playing everything well.
They have been, but I'm just saying that I don't want to peaches and cream this one up here. I don't want to say we got this, because we don't. You're looking at 3 very tough teams coming up in the next week. This is going to show a lot of fortitude from Philadelphia right now. Don't get me wrong. The 9-game win streak says a lot, but you're facing 3 real tough teams, and look back at who we beat in this 9-game win streak. Yes, did we get lucky, but we beat Detroit. Detroit has been floating in mediocrity all year. Mm-hmm. Dallas has been terrible all year. Edmonton, yes, they've been good, but they're still young and capable of making rookie mistakes, and we totally took advantage of that. Florida sucks. Nashville, we got lucky. Against Chicago did not play well in Philly, and they don't play well in Philly. We just routinely beat them here.
Yeah, but give Flyers credit. That was a tough contest to win to kick off this win.
It was, yeah. And then we faced Ottawa, and we got a real hard-fought OT win against them.
Right.
I'm just saying, look at the context of the 9-game win streak. Don't just jump and immediately go peaches and cream on this week.
I don't mean to speak for Brian, but I'm going to. You're not wrong in your logic, but I think we just believe the Flyers can handle it, and they can thrive in this adversity.
Oh yeah, I mean they're easily going to go 2-3 in that next week, the week before Christmas. Right. I think they could very easily go 2-3.
Right.
All right. Well,
or 2 out of 3. Sorry.
It's going to be an interesting series of weeks coming up. I mean, you have that heavy-handed week, and then you got the light week after the Christmas break, and then you come in for the New Year's period. You got St. Louis. You go to St. Louis. Yeah, that's a tough one. And then you go to San Jose a couple days later. So you got 2 very tough Western teams that you're going up against. However, though, I think the best situation we could be in is I think we probably would have a better game against San Jose than we would St. Louis. St. Louis is going to be a tough one to try and sell me on. I think we could beat San Jose. I think we can do that. St. Louis is going to I'm still not sold on us beating St. Louis right now. Nashville, we can beat Nashville. We've proven that. Washington, we'll see what happens. We can beat Washington. We know we can beat Washington. Can we, though? Will we is another question. And we can beat New Jersey, and we should beat New Jersey. Let me put that into perspective. We should beat New Jersey. And I'll say that again. We should beat New Jersey. Why? Because we're racing with them right now. And not only are we racing with them right now, we want them to keep eating the dust that we put behind them. That's exactly what we want to keep doing. Beat New Jersey. You can lose to Washington. Do not lose to New Jersey. You do not lose to the Devils. Because screw Washington. They're competing. Who cares? Focus on making sure if we're in the wild card, which is most likely where we're going to end up, keep the Devils as far away from us as possible.
Agreed.
I don't want them anywhere close to us. And if I had to choose which game to lose, I'd rather lose to Nashville, where you don't really suffer any long-term consequences. Washington, New Jersey, then you get 2 straight wins. That's what I'd like to see.
Now you're drinking my Kool-Aid.
All right, so.
Creepy Kool-Aid.
Hey. Yeah, I am a bit of a creeper.
Jim Jones, what? Anyway, moving on. So, with all that being said, we go to break. When we come back, it's time to finish the Bill Dineen Tribute Tournament. See who walks away with the Bill Dineen Cup. And this is all brought to you by the BMW of Atlantic City. Have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, then go to BMW of Atlantic City. They're easy to get to. Minutes off at exit 37 of the Parkway, located at 6037 Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Give them a call at 609-568-9200. They are online at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com, and we'll be right back after this. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to the Hockey Happy Hour, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour, live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we're brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. Rob, what is the results of our Twitter poll?
Our Twitter poll, a couple people chiming in. Got Vince Toronto saying, I think they'll beat the Avs tomorrow night, but finally drop in Dallas, so 10. But they picked a perfect time to go streaking with the city's Eagles malaise. Yeah, good point there. We got Rich Hickman saying, I'm going with 12. 12. We got Tommy Arnone saying 11. But a couple different opinions here. Based on the numbers, though, on Twitter, you voted for 11 games. 60% of the vote takes the cake. So they're saying they beat Colorado and Dallas and lose against Nashville, kind of what I was saying. The other 40%, though, go all to 13+. I like the style.
So they don't have us losing until we get to New Jersey.
Right, right.
That's interesting.
Devils fans.
13 plus. Will it be 36, ladies and gentlemen? Stay tuned.
Yeah, we'll break our own record. All right, anyway.
Love it.
Back to the Bill Dineen Cup playoffs. We go to the semifinals. I got Montreal versus St. Louis in this matchup, and I actually say St. Louis beats Montreal because at some point the number 1 overall seed has to choke. So Montreal chokes in the semifinals. St. Louis beats them in 7. Rob?
Finally I have the matchup, number 2 versus number 5. Pittsburgh Penguins versus Philadelphia Flyers. And if I'm going to stick true to what I said during the break, I think the Flyers have more scoring depth. Not proven scoring depth like the Penguins do, but the way they've been playing, all 4 lines are scoring. I say the Flyers upset the Penguins as long as Steve Mason plays stone cold.
Wow.
7 games, Flyers.
Oh, wow.
Homer.
Yep. Oh, yeah, all the way.
Little peaches and cream around here.
All
All right,
the
moving
way.
on. Now to 2 and 4.
Klykoff's going to land base me.
We got Pittsburgh versus Chicago. And I'm going to say Pittsburgh beats Chicago in 6 and goes back to the finals.
Fair enough.
All right,
I
Rob.
like your style.
Who you got?
In the other matchup, I have number 3 New York Rangers versus the number 4 Blackhawks. I mean, look at these final 4. Fantastic. It would be great if it worked out like this, but it wouldn't because you'd have 3 teams from the East and 1 from the West.
The way it's supposed to be.
The way it's supposed to be. But in this is a tough one to pick, but I got to go with the New York Rangers all day. They've just been probably the best team in the NHL. I know I vomited in my mouth a little bit, but I mean, talk about offense, defense, special teams. They're the whole package. I say the Rangers win, and they win in 6.
All right, then. So my Bill Dineen Cup Finals is Pittsburgh versus St. Louis. And call me crazy, but I'm with Brian. St. Louis wins this bad boy, and they win it in 7. Why? Because
I'm smart.
okay. Anyway, more like I think St. Louis will be able to match Pittsburgh, and I think they'll be able to actually counter the offense and put it with their good defense and a good solid defense and good goaltending from Jake Allen, and I think the Blues will be able to figure out Matt Murray and figure out the Penguins' defense and win it.
Right.
That's what I said. I'm smart.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, but I didn't want to give you credit. So anyway,
Well, my Bill Dineen final would be the New York Rangers versus the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh, my God. And please tell me, the Flyers actually lose this, don't they?
All signs point towards the Rangers dominating in this. Like I said, they've been great on all 3 styles. But why stop now being a homer?
Well, actually, hold up. Before you even give it your winner, the Flyers have played the Rangers very well in the last couple of years.
Huh?
They have,
So
but they didn't in that last game they played them in.
Well, that's fine.
Okay,
It was
just
still
saying.
a 1-goal game. You don't have to play well to get the win.
All right.
Trends don't mean as much in hockey.
Right. You said that off the air.
Yes. You know, I really should pick the Rangers here. You know what I mean? And continue
Well, I mean,
the
it is
drought.
it is a fantasy tournament.
Right.
That's who you want to see win.
So, exactly. In Fantasyland, I'd love to see the cup drought, and I'm going with the Philadelphia Flyers in 7 games.
They win a cup. They win the Bill Dineen Cup.
Matter of fact, that 7th game beats their record of 5 overtimes against Pittsburgh. It goes way deep, dude. Way
It goes
deep.
to like what 7 or 8 overtimes, and it ends in like the middle of next day's afternoon.
That's
These guys are literally skating with their IVs.
They're calling up the Phantoms and the Hartford Wolfpack to finish the damn game because the pros can't continue anymore.
Pieces of pizza hanging off their sweater.
Lundqvist is pretty much dead, and Mason is like gone, long
sitting-
gone.
he's sitting
Stoli
there-
is desperately keeping up the.
He's sitting in a rocking chair with a blanket over his legs.
He thinks he's back in Sweden. God. Okay, so I got the St. Louis Blues winning the first Bill Dineen for me. You got the Flyers. Wow.
That's right.
And they call me a homer. Oh, wow.
That's right.
Whew. All right. I mean, I guess Brian had St. Louis, so we'll go with that too.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. Brought to you by Scanzano's, but I want to talk to you guys about Liberty Event Rentals. For all your event needs, tables, chairs, tents, linens, for all your party stuff, give them a call, 267-314-7368, and you can find them on the web at www.libertyeventrentals.com. This has been the Hockey Happy Hour. It's last call time. We will see you guys next week on A2DRadio.com.